you speak to something really important, George, and I would love Carolyn and Mike's perspective on this. I spoke to a financial advisor recently who said the exercise we need to do is talk about how much it costs to be you, not how much it costs to pay your bills every month, but to be the you that you want to be. So if you want to be this person that has a house upstate and you maybe have a beach house, or you go on vacation twice a year, or you like new clothes every fall for the new season, you really have to get that under control. Carolyn, how important is that when you meet clients for the first time, or even those that you've been working with for years, to have that conversation about, let's really get to the bottom of what it costs to actually be the person you want to be?
Oh gosh, Caleb, that's an understatement. You know, a lot of people think of financial planning as investments, and real financial planning, and thank goodness there are more of us out there actually doing it, is first taking stock of what are a client's goals, and also helping them develop, you know, like George was saying, are you happy now? And if not, why? And then it may involve career planning. It may involve helping them break down their spending into what's really valuable to them, the needs versus the wants, and learning how to thoughtfully spend instead of just spend in search of something. So it all starts with figuring out their goals. And then we actually do look at the cost of their life. And then you look at what they're doing now and how much they're saving. And if they continue those behaviors, what does that potentially look like in the future? And where do they have leeway? I think a big mistake people make with financial planning, they'll do a one-time financial plan, and life is not static. It changes constantly. So for us, instead of focusing so much just on investments, because that's just a tiny part of financial planning, we every year review a person's spending and making certain that what they're doing is congruent with who they really are and what they want to be. And once you get that under control, experience is much less expensive than buying things. And once you get people at peace with where they are financially, a lot of times they quit spending that search for buying those things, and their financial picture becomes a lot more secure. So to me, we just need to make the whole focus of financial planning more on this and talk a lot less about investments in the stock market.
You've been saying that for years, and Mike, you probably come across this as well, because maybe some of your clients may be in a good position financially, as Amy mentioned, but at the same time, that doesn't buy you happiness per se, right?
Well, and I think what's so helpful, and I know Carolyn and George and Amy, and is doing an assessment, taking stock of all areas of one's life and figuring out what's really off balance. Because anytime we address any problem, we have to assess it. If you're a therapist and they have diagnoses, you assess the problem, and then you kind of figure out, okay, what is our roadmap based upon all these different criteria that make up this description, where a lot of research has been done around it to help the person. Same thing with financial planning. I assume with Carolyn, there's an assessment that takes place. Mm-hmm. What are your assets? What is your relationship to money? Do you have any retirement saved up? And so, getting help is the wonderful thing we get to do in this life. Is we have so many options of different human beings that we can ask for help. And now, because of the internet, we all have so many options to ask for help. But help is a transaction, even free help. So even if you want to get advice, I always say there's like the wise counsel in our lives. Figure out who is that wise counsel that you look up to, who has a good relationship with money, who has a good foundation. Get coffee with them. People like to be able to help other people. However, be coachable. A lot of people say they want help, or they'll show up with Carolyn or George or Amy. They'll say they want help, but they don't want the help you're suggesting. They want a different type of help. So it's really important to trust the process, that when you ask experts for help, you're kind of surrendering. And sure, there are horror stories out there, right? Of course, but if you got a little bit of research and you look people up on the internet, you can shake enough bushes so you can feel safe trusting experts' opinions.